Kevin, were you pleased with the outcome of the probation decision in terms of allowing your client to keep getting private treatment?
I think we were most fortunate in getting one of the most compassionate, strong judges in the state of Massachusetts. He did the right thing and has no compunctions whatsoever, entered a very rational, organized order, and I'm very grateful for that because she really needs that treatment.
Kevin, when the facts were laid out by the district attorney, can you speak about how that was presented? Because the way it was presented, the DA was minimizing the mental health aspect, made it sound over and over again like this was premeditated, right. There was a clear thought that she planned this by calling these different places and going on Apple Maps. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, she's a DA. She wants to put the case in the light most favorable to the Commonwealth and whatever inferences she could draw. I think it shows a lack of understanding or appreciation of the serious nature of postpartum psychosis, postpartum depression, and the SSRIs. I think suggesting that, she was able to communicate with her mom and send her a text and hope you had a nice ride, minimizes or shows that she was not in the throes of suicidal ideation or, God forbid, homicidal ideation or depression, or unable to sleep, insomnia, which was a complaint that was brought many times to the doctor's attention. So I certainly don't fault the DA for presenting her case like that. I'm glad the judge was able to understand what the real issues are.
So she was able to function and make those phone calls and make that plan, but that doesn't, you're saying that doesn't mean that she wasn't suffering?
Well, of course, she would not lose, you don't lose the ability to understand that this is a cell phone and I'm going to shake hands with this person or I'm going to get in a car and drive. I mean, it's not like you're in a total stupor, you know?
Kevin, how is her diagnosis?
I'm sorry?
What is her diagnosis?
As far as her medical condition?
Her mental health and her physical condition.
It's still being evaluated. That's why Dr. Paul Zizell, who is forensic psychologist, he's been with her for the past 3 days, so that's still being investigated.
Can you describe her condition right now?
Very, very sad affect. She can't move, as you heard in the courtroom. She's confined to the bed. She has to have 24/7 care for obvious reasons. She has no feeling from the navel down. And emotionally, there's a very significant risk of suicide. They have to have a person sit in the room, as you heard, and watch her 24/7. So it's not good.
Do you have a hope that a plea agreement could be reached? Would that be the best way to dispose of this case?
I certainly do. And I'm hoping that Tim Cruz, who's a former defense attorney and DA for a long time, would be able to understand that this is just a tragic case that really should be resolved without the fanfare of a trial and the emotion.
What would be a fair plea?
That would be a matter of negotiation.
In some of the prosecution was talking about a medical history that some had said she did not have postpartum depression, that she had no symptoms.
No, I heard her say that she saw one doctor and there was an evaluation. I don't know for how long, I don't know for how deep, in depth, I don't know what the facts were as far as that. And at that point, the DA said that the doctor said that it did not appear to be postpartum depression, even though she'd made a posting on Facebook about a month or so prior to this, indicating that she felt that she was anxious and depressed because of postpartum. So,
what was her diagnosis on the claim? What were they treating her for?
I'm getting the records, and that's, under investigation.
What liability do her doctors and the pharmaceutical companies have in this case?
There's 3 dead children right now, and a young woman who was a beautiful woman who's confined to her bed, and a husband who's a walking shell of a human being. I don't really want to talk about money lawsuits at this point.
How many medications was she taking at the time?
Around 12, but they would say 4 at a time. They would stop, get off it, get on the, how do you pronounce it, sertraline?
Sertraline.
Sertraline.
Right.
And then the antidepressant, and then put her on the Prozac, and they tape her off the Prozac and put her on the, amitriptyline. That's what was happening.
Does Dr. Zizell want to say something about his impressions of cases?
Well, I would say, of course.
Can you
step up to the microphone?
Of course. So I've been meeting with Mrs. Clancy for the past few days, multiple hours each day. What I can say, without going too far, is that her affect is absolutely flattened. She's in a very surreal state, It feels dreamlike to her, as she's described to me on multiple occasions. And individuals who can present as being lucid and linear and clear thinking do not make those people not mentally ill. They have the capacity for, on occasion, to be able to do things that they've been doing for a long period of time. When you have delusional thinking, fixed beliefs that are unchangeable, and hallucinations, namely command hallucinations, telling you to do things that are malevolent, and you believe those voices that are telling you you need to follow what they say, that's when things go downhill behaviorally, psychiatrically, and familially. And that's what we see in the most tragic of cases, where individuals who could be healthy and normal, and quite frankly, because they're paranoid and worried about what others think, they hold back on what they share. And in some cases throughout the country and the world, these are people who one day will be functioning well, but because they have the onset of command hallucinations, which they adhere to, and they believe the voice that they have to do something, that's when tragedy occurs. And I think that sort of is under the override rubric that this case falls under.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.